Today, President Joe Biden has spoken. He has congratulated Donald Trump. He has pledged a peaceful and orderly transfer of power. And that's it. We've made it. Now, MSNBC is losing their mind, saying that Donald Trump didn't have to steal the election this time because the American people handed it right over. But they don't get it, do they? They don't understand that their lies don't work anymore. And so this is big news. Joe Biden speaking out, and he looked very, very happy. I watched the speech live, and it's funny because I'm seeing some people say, Joe Biden gives up, Joe Biden surrenders, Joe Biden announces he's been defeated, and I'm like, no. Joe Biden wanted this. It has been speculated that he sabotaged Kamala Harris. He was actively sabotaging her. She was desperately trying to get away from him. Jill Biden shows up to vote wearing red. I definitely got to pull that one up because I think that one is. That's the one where it's like, maybe they're sending us a message. Seeing red. First lady chooses to wear red. I'll tell you what this is. Here's the truth. Joe Biden, facts, announced that Trump won. Congratulations, it's over. I wonder if this is the deep state having failed miserably and they're running for the hills. Joe Biden sabotaged Kamala because they put a knife in his back, figuratively, and he said, okay, then you get to lose. But I also kind of think it's simpler than that. I think this is the truth. I don't know that Joe Biden actively sabotaged Kamala Harris. Maybe. But I think it's the biggest I told you so ever. So Joe Biden is beaming. He gets to go to all the Democrats and all the bigwigs and say, you had a chance and you threw me into the gutter. So you will now reap what you have sown. It's got to feel good. I mean, come on. Imagine this. Those of you that are listening that are a little older, imagine a bunch of young guys being like, you're out, old man. You don't know how to fix cars anymore. We're the young guys and we're taking over. And then they burn everything to the ground. And you're like, listen here, kid. I know how the game is played and you had a chance. So I'm not saying Joe Biden would have beat Donald Trump. I don't know that he would have. He's going to come out and say, I got 81 million votes in 2020. Kamala couldn't even get 69. She got 68. And he's going to act like if they went with him, it was all him. But hey, he's vindicated. How about them apples? Look at this from Fox News. Seeing red? Social media erupts over First Lady Jill Biden's Election Day outfit. Interesting. Ian Miles Chong says Joe Biden is wearing the GOP's shade of red to cast her vote. Joe Biden is skipping the Kamala Harris watch party. Do the math. So I'm not going to sit here and say Joe Biden has given up. He's given up. It's over. I'm going to say Joe Biden with a big old smile on his face announces that Kamala Harris loses. He was right, and you get what you deserve. It's got to feel good, eh, Joey boy? Fox News reports President Biden addressed the nation from the Rose Garden on Thursday after his vice president Kamala Harris conceded the 2024 presidential election to President-elect Trump. In brief remarks, Biden announced he spoke with Trump on Wednesday to congratulate him on his victory and assure him that the entire Biden administration will work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. It feels so good, doesn't it? Well, my friends, before we read a little bit further, make sure you head over to castbrew.com because Alex Stein is screaming his brain out right here because he needs coffee. Watch the commercial. It's fun. We've got Ian's Graphene Dream. It's selling really well. People like it's low acidity, and people have said it's soft on their bellies. And then we also have Stand Your Grounds. Now, right now, if you use promo code MAHA, Make America Healthy again, MAHA, all caps, 25, you get 25% off everything. And we're going to launch a big discount package in honor of victory. We'll put it that way. Castbrew.com, but also go to timcast.com, click Join Us, become a member of the Discord, because there are tens of thousands of people who have gathered, who are sharing ideas, speaking their minds, and we are building this community so that we can be organized. This is how we do it. The founding fathers, they went to bars and pubs. Well, we're trying our best. And to start, we got the timcast.com Discord server. But anyway, back to the news. That's what the American people deserve, Biden says. He praised Harris for running an inspiring campaign and said she has great character and backbone like a ramrod. Trump will make a triumphant return to the White House on January after more than 72 million Americans voted for him. The results were a culmination of a tumultuous campaign, which saw the incumbent Biden win the Democratic primary, only for him to withdraw the race. We get it. We lived it. And it's over. Quote, a country chooses one or the other. We accept the choice the country made. I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your neighbor only when you agree. Something I hope we can do. No matter who you voted for, you see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow Americans. It is honest, it is fair, it is transparent, and can be trusted, win or lose. You know what I think? I think, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I'm hearing this. If they stole the election in 2020, why aren't they stealing it again? Well, I never said they stole it in 2020. I said they called it a shadow campaign. I said their ground game was better. They locked people in their homes. There's a lot going on. Shadow campaign, as Time Magazine's Molly Ball refers to it, is a conspiracy, their words, not mine, to fortify the 2020 election. Call that stealing. I don't care. I just said their ground game was way better. They were on the ground. They were ballot harvesting. It worked. Republicans, not so good. This time around, Republicans did a good job. They did a better job. And Trump's coming in with a comparable number of votes. But what I think is, whether you believe it was stolen or not, what we're looking at is a deep state that has fled. Over the past several months or year, it's felt like those that remained within the annals of power were deciding it's not looking good and we need to move now. If they stay and declare war on Trump and lose, it's the end for them. But I see a lot of these guys were probably thinking, I'm going to back away. I'm going to moderate and try and back Donald Trump so that I will be safe when he wins. The deep state, they expected a Donald Trump victory, I believe. And so they were trying to find a way to save face. Now, Joe Biden was a true believer, in my opinion. And Democrats were desperately trying to win. But these intel guys, these spies, these people behind the scenes who thought they were going to pull a fast one, I think they broke. They became disorganized. And many of them started saying, I'm not playing this game. Donald Trump put out this truth post, this tweet. If you vote illegally, you will go to jail. I think it worked. I think there were a lot of people, not so much about voting illegally, but were looking to play shady games. And I'm imagining it like this. You know, at one point you had a bunch of guys robbing a bank, right? And they were all like, we're going to get away with this. And they did. But then the bank, it turns out, was owned by the mob. And so the next time the guys come by, they're like, hey, man, look, I didn't know that this was a mob bank. I'm getting out of here. That is, they underestimated Donald Trump. This time around, the sentiment was clear. The betting markets, the polls, everything predicted a Trump win. And so you got to ask yourself, if you're going to go for the king, you better not miss. And at this point, the chance of missing was too high. So these deep state guys were like, I'm not playing this game, dude. You're going to lose. And if I join with you and Trump wins, we're done. I think that's what happened. So they threw it all out. We got this from USA Today. President Biden says giving up is unforgivable, but assures a peaceful transfer of power. And I think Trump's going to take it. I do. I think Trump's going to moderate. I doubt we're going to see lock him up, but I do believe there needs to be some lock him up. I think there's a handful of people that were working within these bureaucracies, these intelligence agencies, the Democratic Party, who have clearly committed crimes. I believe that in order for this country to move forward, Donald Trump is going to have to investigate New York, and we're going to have to get an internal review and a special counsel on these FBI agents and the DOJ going after Donald Trump. I believe the first thing Donald Trump should do when he gets into office is put Merrick Garland in jail. You think I'm joking? Merrick Garland was held in contempt of Congress. Steve Bannon spent his time in jail. I am not talking about retribution or revenge. I'm talking about telling the American people we will have balance, justice, and accountability. So for Peter Navarro to go to jail for contempt of Congress and Steve Bannon to go to jail for contempt of Congress, well, then Merrick Garland need go to jail as well. Here's what I want to see. We know Merrick Garland committed the crime. He was held in contempt by Congress, and they've done nothing. When Donald Trump brings in his attorney general, I will lobby to the best of my abilities, limited, say, those abilities. But I'm going to be asking people, I want to see Merrick Garland out of office, and now you can lock him up. 4 months. That's it. It's a slap on the wrist. but you were held in contempt of Congress. If we are going to enforce anything, any laws in this country, the American people need to know that when you break the law, you face those penalties. And in the inverse, for the J6ers, if you were violent, riotous, fighting with cops, you get charged. Now, that being said, 20 years? No. Trump should commute those sentences. Trump should say, 4 months seems fair. You rioted. It was bad. The only people who got hurt were Trump supporters. There were injuries to police officers, but I mean, no serious injuries to politicians. Only those who died were Trump supporters, and that was bad. But I believe that those who wandered into the Capitol, where there were no there were no signs anywhere. There was nothing indicating they were trespassing. It was open sidewalks to a public building, and they put these people in jail. Trump should give them all full pardons and invite them all to the White House for a big party. If, however, you did riot and we have proof, I think Trump should have no problem to say, look, you're going to jail for 3 or 4 months. That's right. You're violent. The same goes for Antifa. And anybody who wants to go crazy and be violent, you broke the law, and there will be accountability. I want to see Merrick Garland serve his 4 months. That's it. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that's fair. I'm not calling for violence. It's not emotional. It's logical. Steve Bannon did his time. Peter Navarro did his time. Merrick Garland, we're not going to shackle you. We're not going to put you in an orange jumpsuit. You're going to go to the prison, report for your 4 months for contempt of Congress. It's cushy and minimum security. And we're going to say, we're not trying to be abusive. We're trying to show the American people that there is equality under the law. Now, there's an alternative. Donald Trump can issue a full pardon to Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro. I don't know if I believe he does have the ability, because I believe it's still federal authority when it comes to contempt of Congress and the DOJ going after them. And then compensate them for malicious prosecution. Either way, and if that's the route, it need be done. We need equality under the law. What I don't want to see, I don't want to see retribution. I don't want to see Trump hunting people down and jailing political opponents. The left will claim it no matter what. I don't care what they say. We want equality under the law. And I think this, the popular mandate for Donald Trump with the popular vote proves that most people in this country understand. If Donald Trump comes out and issues a statement saying, this past year, this will be in 2025, 2 men, Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, were held in contempt of Congress. They were charged and they served their time. This is law in these United States. However, at the same time, Merrick Garland was also held in contempt of Congress and was not charged. This is not equality under the law. For that, I am instructing my Attorney General to pursue charges against Merrick Garland for contempt of Congress, and that he may serve the same amount of time, for we do not treat people differently based on their positions nor their politics. If you break the law, you will be held accountable. So let's see it. I love this, though. MSNBC's mental breakdown is fun. Trump didn't have to try to steal this election to win. The groundwork was all set for Trump to claim he'd been cheated out of another election. Instead, America simply gave him the White House. Oh, the whinging. Even Joe Biden was beaming, having a good time. I didn't sleep much after President-elect Donald Trump won Pennsylvania, catching maybe 2 hours of rest during Wednesday's pre-dawn hours. Blah, blah, blah. At the time, I'd only noticed how much the vandalism felt like an intrusion into my progressive New York City neighborhood. It wasn't until Wednesday morning I looked up to see what had been placed directly in front of a synagogue. What I'd taken as a bit of spite or a political prank felt far crueler. It came to mind of the shooter, blah, blah, blah. Listen. It said, what was it? Great replacement theory, blah. What? She glanced down and she saw graffiti, Trump Vance 2024, spray painted in a bike lane. And for this, she's angry and comparing it to a mass shooter? These people are mentally unstable. We cannot, as a country, function if mentally unstable people are directing the nation as such. We need to solve this problem. How do we do it? Well, the AP says Donald Trump has sweeping plans for a second administration. Here's what he's proposed. Former president and now president-elect skipped over details through more than a year of policy announcements. Not really. He actually had substantially more policy proposals than Kamala Harris. Immigration. Let's go, baby. There is a popular mandate. Send them back. I got no problem saying it. We like immigrants, but they've got to come legally. Legally. What does that mean? My friends, my brothers from another mother, you are welcome in this great nation, the shining city on the hill. Just file the paperwork, submit it formally, and we will make sure that we are inviting you in. But this idea that if I've got, say, a Six Flags Great America with roller coasters and corn dogs, anybody can just walk in and use whatever they want is ridiculous. We kick you out when you do that. Why? The ticket fee that you pay for your theme park covers the cost of maintenance and cleanup and the concession stands. It pays at the bills. Imagine a theme park that said anybody can come in for free and do whatever they want. We're going to send them back. And that's the worst we're going to do. We're going to say, I'm sorry, my friend, you can't be here. You broke in. You got to go. Is that so mean? Build the wall, they say. Trump has called for using National Guard and empowering domestic police forces to deport the largest mass deportation in history, and that is popular mandate. Cry about it. He's going to reinstitute remain in Mexico, which makes the most sense. Why are we letting people in? Abortion. They do say it's unclear if the administration would aggressively defend legal challenges. I do believe that Donald Trump I don't think he'll veto a federal abortion ban. He might actually. He actually might. I mean, he's got one term left. I do not see the issue of abortion going to Congress or the presidency. It has to go to the Supreme Court. Now, I myself consider myself to be traditionally pro-choice, and I say that because it's more of a libertarian position, and it comes with moral impossibilities, which I agree. There's no simple answer, and it may just be that I am not smart enough to give you a good one. That's really just it. It's feelings, right? I mean, I have thoughts and I have logic on the matter, but I will say this: if the baby can survive on its own, it should be illegal to kill. That's just it. It makes no sense. If a woman is experiencing a medical issue, they should try to save the life of the baby. If there's a medical issue in which the baby needs to be removed from the mother, but otherwise is viable, they should remove the child and try to save it. It makes no sense to just kill a baby. Here's the ultimate challenge. How do you regulate this? I mean, honestly. Now, the left likes to say things like, oh, women are going to die because doctors are scared to perform abortions or life-saving medical intervention because of the law. And I think that's bull crap. If a woman is suffering a medical issue, it is clear that the doctors can intervene to try and save the life of the woman. The only thing at question is, do they intentionally kill the baby? And if a woman is suffering a medical thing, it's like, imagine if a doctor injects a foreign chemical into a woman's body who's going, instead of saline, and she dies. And then we're all like, oh, no. And he goes, look, I was just trying to save her life. Do they go to prison? Sometimes they get investigated and they're like, how did this woman get the wrong substance that killed her? You were supposed to be providing medical treatment and you gave her the wrong drug. Yeah, they could get negligent. They can get manslaughter and stuff like this. They can be sued. It's rare. The excuse that doctors are scared to go to jail is nonsense. The problem, however, in my opinion, is that we have a cultural issue where liberals just want recklessness and irresponsibility when they hook up. And then they want to use abortion as contraception. But ultimately, I say this, without just arguing abortion for 20 years. I believe the end result will be a Supreme Court that bans abortion. It will be abolished. I do. And the reason is the 14th Amendment says all persons, not citizens, says all persons cannot have their rights infringed. The Supreme Court needs to answer the question, are unborn babies persons? I don't see how they answer otherwise. I really don't. Because liberals like to make the argument that it's a fetus, it doesn't count. But there's no logic there. It's a unique set of DNA. It is alive. How do you answer this question? Okay. Scientifically, life begins at conception. There's no question. Anybody arguing otherwise is making a spiritual or philosophical argument that's nonsense. Unique DNA is living. It is created upon conception. Fact. I have questions about the government's right to enforce one person provide their body to another person and how we navigate that constitutionally. That being said, the termination of one's life creates a very serious challenge in that you cannot terminate a baby if it is a person. You cannot end the life without due process. Look at the Terry Schiavo case. A woman, she was brain dead, but she was alive, and they were like, can we pull the plug? It's a big legal battle. If there's a baby, it is alive. I believe the Supreme Court will say the unborns are persons. That's just it. I'll put it this way. Two women, identical twins, married to identical twin brothers, conceive at the exact same time. 8.5 months later, they're both in the hospital. One gives birth, the other does not. The babies are identical in every way. Can the woman who is still pregnant get an abortion? The left says yes. Why? The baby is alive. It can live on its own. The other baby that's already born, you can't kill. Why kill the other one just because it makes no sense? So regardless of my thoughts on the matter, I believe the Supreme Court in that regard rules. Can't do it. But let's move on taxes. Trump's going to cut taxes. They're going to lie and say it's only for rich people, but it's for everybody. He's going to increase tariffs. He's going to DEI gone. LGBTQ totally fine. He's going to get rid of the child abuse. He's going to protect women's sports. He's going to nuke the bureaucracy. Hopefully he gets rid of the Department of Education. Nothing's going to happen to Social Security. He insists he would protect it, of course. The ACA is likely fine. Climate and energy, it's going to be great. They're going to claim otherwise. Workers' rights will be fine. And national defense will be fantastic. So they can cry all day and night. But that's it. The popular mandate is here. Thank you, Joe Biden, for your speech. Let's now move forward. Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. We got more segments coming up all day, of course. Become a member over at timcast.com. Join the Discord server. Join the movement. Make friends. I'm going to tell you, we've actually had people get married. They met on the Discord server, and I'm like, that's kind of crazy, but people are like, Timcast dating app when? I'm like, never. But this is the point. An opportunity to hang out in a space where people agree. And here's the best part. You join timcast.com. You're in the Discord server. Maybe you're like, I don't know how to make friends these days. I work my job. I come home. I go to work. I don't know what I'm doing. You join the Discord server. Someone's going to be like, oh, actually, I live down the street. Let's go grab a beer. That's amazing. That's what we're trying to do. Let's go. We'll see you all in the next segment.